Hello again, everybody. This is just a little minute reflection on the Gospels for this coming week. I'll tell you, after I read the readings the first time from the book of Isaiah and from the Gospel of Matthew, I was hungry. So all they're doing is talking about food in these scriptures. Jesus is feeding the thousands. Isaiah is talking about sumptuous banquets. Oh, I was hungry. But there's something important going on here. And 6 times in the New Testament, Jesus feeds large crowds. Something going on. All 4 Gospels speak of Jesus feeding the crowd. So it was important to all 4 Gospel writers. There's something very powerful going on. It's about being fed by the grace of God. It's interesting, in today's account of Matthew, Jesus is, how many loaves and fish do you have? Well, we got a couple fish, we got a few loaves. Well, they have 5 and 2, that means 7. In the old Hebrew understanding, I think that was the perfect number. There are 12 baskets left over. It means lots was left over. So there's something going on, a lot of fullness of that imagery of being fed. But today, the moment I'd like to reflect on is this. Jesus was fleeing the crowds. He was getting in a boat and going across the sea because something very powerful had just happened to him. He just found out his cousin John the Baptist had been beheaded by Herod. And so the enemy was beginning to get close. Lots of people loved Jesus. They loved what he had to say, but there were some who were decidedly against him and were looking for him. And he probably figured, I'm next. So he got in a boat, maybe just simply to go away and grieve over his cousin John and the loss of that life. But maybe it also was not just grieving, but it was really for him clarifying his mission, that the mission to do the Father's will in his life was not going to be an easy one. Certainly he had to know that, but this really became a clarifying moment for him, that to do the will of the Father might cost him his life. As Christians, we're all on some dangerous mission to live in a way that is somewhat countercultural, that is different maybe than other people in our neighborhood, or the values that we hold. Sometimes people ridicule or scoff at. Feeding the poor, really seriously thinking about, how am I a racist because of the culture that I've been raised in? What does it mean that I might or might not have this experience of white privilege? Do I even know what that might mean for me? To really follow the way of Jesus and get down to the core of who we are, it's a dangerous mission. But today, I think what happens with Jesus is not that he just went away to reflect on his mission, but the crowds followed. And Jesus didn't keep running. Instead, he turned and he encountered what people's needs were. He went from his own need to be away to the realization that I need to be close. That his mission wasn't only to do the will of the Father, but how to do the will of the Father. It was by feeding those who were hungry. And he invited others, his disciples, into that message and that mission. We're still of his disciples. We're still called to mission with Jesus. What are the dangerous times for us right now? Because, for example, of this pandemic. Maybe it's a loss of a job, the health of our own lives, or the health of other people we love. Maybe if we have a business, we watch our employees being afraid that they might lose their jobs or they've already lost it. Government subsidies will run out. All of those things which cause us great fear and anxiety, which can lead us away from the mission of doing the Father's will. Something to think about in my own life, maybe something to think about in yours. How do I discern first the mission and the will of the Father in my life, and what are the fears that I need to respond to that keep me from following the will of the Father? Have a good week.